Out in untamed landscapes, a pursuing animal does not always secure the outcome it expects. Power, quick bursts of speed, and years of hunting skill can still fall short when circumstances shift. Across open plains and along unpredictable river edges, every confrontation becomes a trial of timing and judgment. Such unsuccessful attempts reveal how nature constantly balances danger with opportunity. Adult African porcupines weigh between 25 and 60 pounds and carry thousands of stiff quills on their backs, some over 12 inches long. These quills don't shoot out, but easily embed themselves in an attacker's skin upon contact. When threatened, the porcupine raises its quills, turns its back, and holds its position. In this encounter, the porcupine escapes safely when the young leopard is unable to complete the hunt. The young leopard approaches from behind with the confidence of youth. It lowers its body and accelerates in the final few steps to quickly subdue its prey before it can turn. The distance narrows to just a few feet. The lunge is decisive. The porcupine immediately raises its quills and turns at the right moment. When the leopard makes contact, many of the stiff quills embed themselves in the face and front legs. The pain forces the leopard to retreat immediately. It attempted to approach again, but the porcupine's unwavering defense thwarted the attempt. After a few minutes of deliberation, the leopard cub ceased its attack. The porcupine slowly moved away from the area without turning to flee. For many predators, porcupines are a high-risk prey. If the injury affects its ability to hunt in the future, the cost would outweigh the immediate benefit. Amidst the dry, sparsely forested grasslands, the African wild boar emerged, looking alert. Weighing between 150 and 250 pounds, its long, curved tusks, over 10 inches in length, provided considerable defense. While not as agile as antelopes, it could sprint at nearly 35 miles per hour, an advantage that helped it survive this confrontation. Two lionesses split the formation and pressed from opposite sides. They moved slowly, using the open terrain and wind direction to approach unnoticed. When the distance was only a few feet, both simultaneously accelerated to block the escape route. The initial advantage favored the predator. The wild boar detected the danger at the last moment. Instead of constantly changing direction, it concentrated its energy on a direct sprint. Its body lunged straight through the narrow gap between its two opponents, widening the distance yard by yard. The brief chase caused the lioness's speed to gradually decrease, and their chances dwindled. Unable to catch up, the two lionesses were forced to stop to avoid further energy expenditure. The wild boar continued running until it was out of danger. In an ambush, the first few seconds are crucial. If the prey survives that moment, the outcome can be completely different. Adult African buffaloes can weigh between 1,100 and 1,900 pounds with a pair of horns that form a solid mass over 3 feet wide. Their thick muscles and strong necks help them withstand direct impact. In this confrontation, the buffalo is injured but still manages to escape the encirclement of 2 prides of lions. Two prides of lions from different territories appear around their target. Initially, they move in a temporary coordinated effort to bring down the large prey. Approaching from multiple directions, they corner the buffalo into a narrow space. Pressure builds rapidly, and the odds seem to favor the predator. Tensions shift when a lioness gets too close to the invisible boundary of the other pride. Roars erupt, and suspicion flares up. Individuals turn to confront each other, even within their own pride. The buffalo takes advantage of this moment to stand up, lower its head, and make its escape. When internal conflict escalates, the hunt loses its initial focus. The two prides cannot maintain a short-lived alliance. Lions' social structure is based on territory and hierarchy, so a shared goal is easily broken. Internal conflict can derail a seemingly certain hunt. In the hot, dry semi-desert, the oryx moved with the characteristic calmness of a species adapted to the harsh environment. Weighing between 350 and over 400 pounds, its straight, sharp horns formed a formidable defense. In this confrontation, it was this steadfastness that prevented the lion from advancing further. The lion approached from behind, maintaining a sufficient distance to avoid early detection. It sought a moment of distraction for its prey to launch a swift attack. When the distance was only a few feet, the tension increased. The oryx did not flee. It turned, lowered its horns, and maintained a stable defensive posture. Each step the lion took was carefully considered in terms of the risk of being gored. A pause occurred when the risk of injury became apparent. After a few seconds of confrontation, the lion slowed its pace and retreated. The oryx remained standing before slowly moving away. Not every hunt ends with a decisive blow. Some prey survive by forcing predators to give up. Porcupines are solitary herbivores that move slowly and rarely rely on speed for survival. An adult weighs over 25 pounds, with a low, stocky body protected by thousands of tough spines that can be over 12 inches long. In this encounter, the porcupine doesn't become prey and forces the lion to retreat. The lion approaches with obvious caution. It takes short strides, pausing to observe its opponent's reaction. There is no sudden lunge. Each time the distance narrows, the spines rise, creating an insurmountable boundary. As the porcupine retreats into the narrow gap between the bushes, the chance of a safe approach almost disappears. Any touch could result in a deep wound to the face or front legs. The lion considers for a few more seconds before slowing down. The hunt ends before it truly begins. the lion left in silence, while the porcupine continued to move slowly toward safety. In nature, effective defense doesn't require active pursuit. When the risks outweigh the benefits, the predator must accept defeat.
He's looking at that guy in the car.
On the riverbanks during migration, adult wildebeest, weighing between 450 and 600 pounds, advance through the murky water. Their thick, curved horns and strong necks help them maintain balance as the current pushes them sideways. In this confrontation, the wildebeest survives as the young lion retreats. Hiding near the water's edge, the young lion waits for the moment its prey subtly separates from the group. As the wildebeest steps ashore, it accelerates and lunges from behind. The distance quickly narrows to just a few feet. The initial advantage belongs to the ambusher. The wildebeest doesn't continue running straight ahead. It suddenly turns, lowers its head, and moves in the opposite direction. This unexpected reaction causes the lion to pause for a split second. That hesitation is enough to change the entire course of events. The young lion, inexperienced in a direct counterattack, chooses to retreat. It stops when it perceives the risk of injury. The river is a high-risk environment, but it also keeps prey highly alert. Not all prey choose to run. A timely reaction can reverse a seemingly successful hunt. Amidst the sparse grass, the honey badger, weighing between 20 and 35 pounds, moved slowly but cautiously. Its thick skin and flexible body structure allowed it to withstand bites and twist when restrained. In this encounter, it was precisely this tenacity that forced the leopards to abandon the hunt. 3 leopards took turns approaching, looking for an opportunity to quickly subdue it. Each time they got close, they were met with fierce resistance as the badger turned its head to face them instead of running away. The bites weren't strong enough, forcing the predators to retreat. After several attempts, the leopards gradually lost their resolve and stopped attacking. The honey badger continued to move slowly, but remained vigilant. For predators, this was prey with a high cost of injury. When the risks outweighed the benefits, retreat was the sensible option. Adult gazelles weigh between 40 and 75 pounds, possess long legs, and can reach nearly 55 miles per hour in short bursts. Their balance and quick turns allow them to survive in open grasslands. In this encounter, the gazelle escaped the hunt, even though the leopard held the advantage at times. In the low grassland, 2 male gazelles were locked in a tense battle. From a safe distance, the leopard patiently observed and waited for its prey to tire. When one individual slowed down after the collision, the leopard suddenly lunged and brought its target down in an instant. The first few seconds unfolded exactly as planned. However, the control wasn't secure enough. The gazelle quickly broke free and accelerated away from the hold. Once the prey regained its rhythm, the opportunity was almost lost, as the leopard relied on a perfect finishing move in the first moment. In the wild, each pursuit involves weighing effort against possible danger. A sudden charge does not always bring a reward, and some targets prove far more difficult than expected. A brief delay, a misstep, or poor timing can quickly alter the outcome. In the end, lasting survival favors those who recognize when to push forward and when restraint is the wiser path. In the wild, lions are not only symbols of power, but also embodiments of the purest survival instincts. Every hunting moment, every recorded confrontation, reflects the fragile boundary between life and death. These are authentic images where strength, strategy, and instinct intertwine to create the story of the ruler of the savannah. Early in the morning, the sunlight bathed the towering figure of a giraffe. Over 18 feet tall and weighing nearly 3,000 pounds, it was a symbol of strength and vigilance. With its long legs and powerful kick, the giraffe was a formidable challenge for any predator. In the tranquil grassland, a pride of lions watched silently, waiting for their moment. When the time came, they moved in unison, in tense silence. The confrontation was brief and restrained. The giraffe kept its distance, escaping the encirclement, leaving the lions standing still in the savannah. On the savannah, not every endeavor leads to victory. The high failure rate serves as a reminder that even the most dominant predators must face their limits. The giraffe's escape is proof that in nature, strength sometimes lies in the ability to defend oneself and remain calm in the face of danger. Late afternoon on the savannah, the sunlight softened behind the tall grass. A herd of zebras moved toward a watering hole, their black and white stripes reflecting in the twilight. A young zebra wandered a few steps, seemingly harmlessly curious. But in the nearby bushes, a pair of golden eyes watched its every move. A lioness lay still, her body pressed against the ground. She subtly tilted her head, signaling with her eyes to two other members hidden nearby. All three moved slowly, maintaining a safe distance and forming a discreet encirclement. When the distance was only a few dozen feet, the moment to act had arrived. From the bushes, the first lioness sprang up, lunging out swiftly and accurately. The zebra, frightened, fled, but the lion's encirclement closed in from multiple directions. Their coordinated teamwork allowed them to quickly subdue their prey. In that brief moment, the hunt ended. The lions had succeeded, bringing back a meal for the entire group. When the dust settled, the lions had won decisively. On this land, it was not just strength, but perfect coordination that determined the line between survival and defeat. On the prairie in the early morning, the air was thin, and the light gently spread across the grassland. A warthog was walking along an empty path. It was eating, its head raised, observing, but there was no sign of danger to make it stop. Familiarity with the land made it less vigilant, a moment of peace, and in that moment, survival became a game of fate. Not far away, a lion was hidden in the low grass. It had been watching its prey for quite some time, waiting for the right moment. The wind changed direction, carrying its scent away. The lion tensed, its eyes focused on every movement. When the distance was only a few dozen feet, its enormous body sprang up with unexpected speed. The grass was torn apart. Dust rose. The warthog turned its head, trying to run. It ran fast, but not fast enough to escape the approaching predator. In just seconds, the lion caught up, delivered a precise pounce, and brought down its prey. Everything ended quickly, cleanly, and coldly. As the sounds faded, the grassland fell silent again. The lion was victorious, and the warthog became a memory of that fleeting moment. On this land, a single moment of carelessness can cost a life. Early in the morning, the gentle sunlight bathed the grasslands. Herds of wildebeest moved in small groups toward the water source. The sound of hooves echoed on the ground, blending with the wind, creating the familiar rhythm of the savannah. Amidst this movement, a few individuals separated from the herd, unaware they were entering the territory of hidden predators. In the tall grass, 4 lionesses lay still, watching the wildebeest from a distance. When one separated from the group, they began to move slowly, closing the distance in silence. The atmosphere grew tense, and then the hunt began. Everything happened quickly, but with clear order and coordination. In an instant, the lions had subdued their prey. The hunt ended successfully, demonstrating the strength and teamwork of the top predators. In this wilderness, strength comes not only from the individual, but also from teamwork. Working as a team helps lions optimize their strength, maintain their dominance, and assert their predatory instincts as rulers of the savannah. Late afternoon on the savannah, a pale yellow sunlight bathed the grasslands. A cheetah appeared, its gait light and agile. It is the fastest animal on the planet, capable of speeds of nearly 70 miles per hour. Yet, with its slender body and light weight, it was not born to fight, but to flee and hunt swiftly. The balance between speed and strength in this world is always fragile. Not far away, 2 male lions lurked in the tall grass. They watched in silence as an intruder approached their territory. Among predators, conflict sometimes isn't over food, but over the boundaries of survival. As the cheetah drew too close, the atmosphere became tense. The lions began to move, each step slow but steady, displaying the inherent power of the dominant species. The encounter was swift, and the disparity in strength quickly determined the outcome. The cheetah lost its speed advantage, and the lion emerged victorious, proving that speed isn't always a guarantee of safety. That moment illustrates a timeless law of nature. Speed may offer opportunities, but strength and control ultimately determine the outcome. On the savannah, there are no absolute advantages. Only adaptive instincts ensure survival. Early in the morning, the savannah was shrouded in a light mist, and a pack of wild dogs gathered near their den. They are small predators but stand out for their incredible coordination and teamwork. Compared to lions, they are lighter, but compensate with speed, agility, and high discipline. From a distance, a lioness appeared, moving silently toward the pack of wild dogs. Tension rose as the distance narrowed. The encounter unfolded in silence, full of restraint. When one wild dog was caught, the entire pack reacted immediately, coordinating closely to rescue it. They did not abandon their ally but surrounded it, moving continuously, creating pressure that forced the lioness to retreat. The confrontation ended when the injured dog was released, and the entire pack retreated safely. That moment demonstrated the true power of the pack spirit. Despite facing lions, coordinated tactics and loyalty helped the wild dogs survive. In the wild, unity remains the most powerful weapon, surpassing even physical strength. It was a sweltering midday on the savannah, the sun casting its rays across the dry grasslands. A herd of African buffalo was slowly making its way toward the stream, seeking a resting place after a long morning of foraging. Weighing up to 1,500 pounds, they were symbols of strength and vigilance. Yet, one wrong step could cost them all their advantage. Not far away, a pride of lions lay hidden in the tall grass. The air was silent, only the gentle breeze rustling the ground. When a buffalo separated from the herd, the predators began to move slowly and orderly. The confrontation was tense. The buffalo fought back, but under the pressure of the entire pride of lions, the balance gradually shifted in favor of the hunter. Every action was meticulously coordinated, demonstrating discipline and natural instinct. Ultimately, the hunt concluded with victory for the lions, affirming the dominance of the savannah's rulers. This victory was not just a meal, but a testament to the lion pride's strength and perfect teamwork. On the savannah, where every day is a test of survival, discipline and teamwork are always key to keeping them at the top of the hunting chain. In the wild, wolves may not be the strongest species, but they understand the power of coordinated attack. They don't act recklessly. Every move is calculated based on the terrain, timing, and the prey's weaknesses. From small targets to large opponents, Every attack is a carefully considered survival strategy. Instinct and tactics intertwine, with patience being the sharpest blade in their arsenal. The gray wolf is one of the best adapted predators in North America. Adult wolves typically weigh between 70 and 110 pounds and can travel over 20 miles a day. With their slender bodies, long legs, and keen senses, they thrive in a wide range of habitats, from icy regions to dense forests. Wolves don't hunt alone. Their strength lies in their pack, a hierarchical social unit with coordinated behavior. They rely on teamwork, endurance, and strategy rather than sheer brute strength. A single wolf may hesitate, but a pack acting together creates a pressure few prey can withstand. Their communication is precise, down to their footsteps, through howling, body language, and scent trails. A successful hunt can sustain the entire pack for days. Failure, on the other hand, means the depletion of precious energy. In the wild, wolves are not just pursuers. They are calculating creatures. And every step is a balance between caution and decisiveness. Wild boars are large animals, possessing thick layers of fat and skin, along with sharp tusks and effective defense mechanism. An adult can weigh over 300 pounds, have quick reflexes, and move nimbly through the jungle. Whether living alone or in loose groups, they remain highly vigilant and react strongly when threatened. Wolves don't act impulsively. They take their time observing, choosing a weak target, an old, exhausted, or separated boar. Once they identify their target, the pack approaches from multiple directions. One wolf distracts, while the others silently approach the target's legs to restrict its movement. Their tactics don't rely on speed or immediate strength, but on patience. The wild boar reacts fiercely, but the gradual attrition wears it down. As the movement begins to slow, the encirclement tightens. The decisive moment comes when the entire pack simultaneously closes the circle, decisively. Coordination is the foundation for an accurate and effective result. Grizzly bears are the iconic symbol of North America's enduring strength, calm, cautious, and full of inner power. Adults weigh over 800 pounds, possess thick fur, and have a heightened sense of vigilance. They typically live solitary lives, controlling their territory with rare ferocity. But when faced with coordinated tactics, blind spots in their defense can be exposed. Wolves don't confront directly. A leader emerges to draw attention, while three others silently move around the perimeter. This formation creates distractions, allowing access to the contested food. The bear's strength is like a wall, But even walls have cracks if the opponent is patient and observant enough. The bear reacts quickly, but the wolf doesn't rush. They silently observe. Are the bears showing signs of fatigue? Are they isolated? Are there any vulnerabilities? If they see a disadvantage, wolves immediately retreat. Not because they are at a disadvantage, but because their composure is the stepping stone to a more certain return. This is not an ordinary confrontation. When they cannot overcome by force, wolves choose to open another path, maintaining their formation, dividing their targets, and exploiting every weakness. The bear's strength creates the wall, but the wolf's tactics are the door. Bison are one of the largest and most dangerous animals in North America. A mature male can weigh up to 2,000 pounds, possessing sharp, curved horns and enough strength to take down any predator. They live in herds and have a very high level of mutual protection, often forming a tight defensive circle with the young at the center. When a bison herd moves across open land, a pack of about 25 wolves begins to follow. They don't charge immediately, but choose a moment when the terrain is uneven or the herd structure is stretched to attack. The wolves understand the bison's defensive tactics, so they begin to disrupt with feints, loud howling, and agile movements. The goal is to create chaos and break the protective circle. When a calf is separated from the herd, that is the decisive moment. Wolves don't attack head-on, but rather coordinate in groups, one blocking the front, while others attack from behind. Victory only comes when perseverance, precise coordination, and timing are perfectly executed. Even so, a single goring from an adult bison can be fatal to a wolf. The hunt lasts for miles and is exhausting. But for this predator, each victory is a reward for strategy, persistence, and understanding of the opponent. Caribou is one of the wolves' primary prey in the Arctic. An adult weighs approximately 350 to 400 pounds and can run at speeds exceeding 40 miles per hour when pursued. They live in large packs, often migrating hundreds of miles in search of moss and lichen, their main food source. But it is precisely this long journey that makes them easy targets for even the most patient predators. Wolves don't attack randomly. They wait for the ideal opportunity. When the pack is stretched thin, the terrain is rugged, or the weather is unfavorable. Their targets are vulnerable individuals, young, old, or those weakened by the long journey. When the opportunity arises, wolves create chaos, using speed and coordination to break up the pack. A direct strike can lead to a dangerous counterattack, so they evade, approach intelligently, and gradually draw their prey out of their protective embrace. This is a game of strategy and energy, where every breath is carefully calculated. pack operates like a precision machine. One wolf blocks the front, another targets the hind legs. The bites aren't aimed at killing, but at unbalancing the prey. When the caribou falls, the hunt temporarily ends. Even so, success is never guaranteed. Wolves expend a great deal of energy on each hunt. And even when they achieve their goal, they prepare for the next hunt because the cycle of survival doesn't allow for long rests. In the taiga forest, where snow blankets the landscape throughout the winter, rabbits become a valuable food source during times of scarcity. An adult rabbit weighs about 3 to 4 pounds and can reach speeds of nearly 35 miles per hour when frightened. Their fur changes color seasonally, providing perfect camouflage. But despite their agility and alertness, they remain a practical target for organized hunters. When large prey becomes too dangerous or scarce, the wolf pack turns to smaller targets. Even small rabbits require careful strategy. The wolves split into 2 groups, one cornering the rabbit, the other blocking its escape route. If the rabbit runs in the wrong direction, the hunt can end in seconds. Although the reward is only enough for a short meal, each rabbit provides the energy to feed the entire pack, especially during the period of raising wolf cubs. When community is paramount, sharing becomes the weapon of survival. Victory is not about speed, but about precise coordination. In a land where mistakes mean lives, such hunts are a silent lesson. The survivor is the one who puts the common good first. Elks are the second largest deer species in North America, after moose. A mature male can weigh up to 700 pounds and possesses powerful antlers used for defense and mates. Elks live in small herds, often moving through dense forests and vast grasslands. While more agile than bison, they remain vulnerable during harsh winters. Wolves never charge in hastily. They silently stalk elks from a distance, observing their reactions and waiting for signs of fatigue. Their targets are slow individuals, those with injured hind legs, or those already exhausted. When an elk reaches a glacier, its speed slows down sharply, and that is the moment to be waited for. Wolves don't need to overwhelm them. They just need the right timing. One individual leads the pursuit, while others close in on either side and rear. The elk kicks with its hind legs, turns its body, and uses its antlers to defend itself. The wolf skillfully dodges, maintaining a safe distance, waiting for the cold and exhaustion to do the rest. Victory comes from patience. The cold, the unfavorable terrain, and the elk's declining speed are allies of the wolf. And when a hunt ends, it's not a rest, but a reminder that the next hunt will soon begin. In the North American wilderness, grizzly bears are not just survivors, but embodiments of strategy and endurance. They don't act rashly, but attack with patience, calculation, and precise choices. Every step, every confrontation holds a lesson about the natural order and the limits of instinct. Grizzly bears are a quintessential image of the North American wilderness. An adult can weigh over 1,000 pounds and stand up to 8 feet tall, living scattered from rainforests to riverine areas. They can move at speeds up to 35 miles per hour, but their strength and speed aren't the only factors. Grizzly bears are typical omnivores, from fruit and salmon to carrion, with a sense of smell sensitive enough to detect scents from miles across the forest. They don't live in fixed herds, nor do they aggressively claim territory. Grizzly bears generally keep their distance from other bears to avoid conflict, except during the breeding season or when caring for their young. These are also the times when clashes are most likely to occur. Grizzly bears are both a testament to muscular strength and a display of instinctive control. In the natural world, where the chance of survival always comes with the risk of death, grizzly bears survive thanks to a balance between intuition, strength, and flexible adaptation. In the reed-covered swamplands, moose stand like living fortresses. Their average shoulder height exceeds 6 feet, and they weigh up to 1,500 pounds. Their antlers, up to 6 feet wide, serve both as a defense mechanism and a symbol of dominance during the breeding season. Faced with such a target, the grizzly bear doesn't act rashly. It silently tracks the footprints in the mud, carefully sniffing out any lingering scent. If it detects a young or pregnant individual, the bear meticulously plans, cornering the prey in shallow, muddy water where its footing is easily lost. The space gradually narrows. Before the moose can react, it's led to a disadvantageous position. The bear maintains its distance, patiently observing every movement. Only when the moose's feet begin to slip in the mud does the bear make its decisive move.
Look, he's got him.
Water splashes up in a white spray. The moose struggled in the mud, but the bear maintained its stamina. Taking advantage of the terrain and timing, it gradually exhausted its prey. The fight didn't require recklessness, just patience, endurance, and a little advantage from nature. In the open forest, even a small movement can awaken dormant predatory instincts. Deer, agile and alert, usually rely on their hearing and speed. But for a grizzly bear, just a small opening is enough to trigger action. The bear doesn't chase immediately. It silently approaches from the downwind side, using the canopy and low terrain to conceal its footsteps. When the distance is close enough, a sudden, full-body lunge is launched not to kill instantly, but to force the prey into a state of panic. The deer immediately springs up, darting through the bushes. But the bear doesn't need speed. It follows step by step, steadily and persistently. A slip, a log blocking the path, just one mistake, and the balance tips sharply in favor of the predator. The outcome doesn't always favor the bear, but in each chase, what is tested is not just endurance, but the limits of survival between two creatures that live based on instinct. A mature male grizzly bear can control a territory spanning tens of square kilometers, containing food sources, wintering grounds, and mating opportunities. But that territory isn't always peaceful. When an intruder appears, conflict becomes inevitable. The bears don't immediately charge. Instead, they circle, emitting low growls to assert their dominance. They stand facing each other, rearing up, clawing at the ground, sending a clear signal. This territory is claimed. The goal isn't destruction, but establishing order. The clash can end in minutes when one side backs down. The victor retains the territory. The loser is forced to retreat, leaving behind a scent as an acknowledgement. On the vast savannah, elk move in herds for protection and survival. A mature male can weigh up to 700 pounds, possessing long, curved antlers like giant branches, and can run over 35 miles per hour in short bursts. Faced with such agility, the grizzly bear is not in a hurry. It silently follows the herd, patiently analyzing each individual. Only when it detects an individual that is weak, old, injured, or slowing down does the bear begin to approach. Not by brute force, but by selectivity. When the herd moves through a slope or near the edge of a stream, the bear waits for the moment its prey stumbles or loses its balance. It lunges from the side, a position where its antlers cannot reach. Elk struggles to rejoin the herd, but each step of the bear presses down. Dust is kicked up in bursts. This hunt is not measured by speed, but by persistence. And when the elk is exhausted, the bear doesn't need any more pounces because victory has been secured the moment it chooses the right timing. As summer arrives, salmon begin their arduous journey upstream to spawn, traversing miles of rapids and strong currents. Averagely 30 inches in size and weighing 10 pounds, salmon are a rich source of fat, providing grizzly bears with the energy they need for the coming winter. The bears don't wait for the fish to jump ashore. They strategically choose locations where the water is shallow and the current is strong, or just before the waterfalls, where the fish tend to slow down. Their eyes are constantly watching, registering every movement underwater. When the time comes, a precise kick sends the fish flying out of the water. There's no need to rush. With keen instincts and almost instantaneous reflexes, the bears process each prey efficiently. Each hunt lasts only a few seconds, but involves dozens of missed attempts beforehand. Amidst the lapping water and the pungent smell of the fish, the grizzly bear becomes part of the river. This wasn't just a summer party, but a lesson in survival. Patience, timing, and adaptability are what separate well-being from starvation. Grizzly wolves are highly organized animals, living in packs of 6 to over 20 individuals, renowned for their coordination and role-playing when hunting. They move nimbly, using encirclement and distraction tactics to overwhelm larger prey. However, when facing a lone grizzly bear, superior in strength and size, caution is still essential. In many cases, bears don't actively seek out wolves. However, when food interests intersect, such as carcasses or foraging grounds, conflict arises. The bear doesn't charge immediately, but walks slowly, raising itself higher, forcing the wolf to retreat with its overwhelming presence. The wolf pack attempts to encircle, spreading out in multiple directions to distract. One wolf approaches to draw attention, while others look for opportunities to approach from the flank. But the bear's muscular strength and double its weight create an insurmountable wall.
It has advantages. It's not as sharp.
Once the bears have reached their food source, their powerful claw strikes are enough to force the entire pack to retreat. Despite their numbers, the wolves rarely dare to engage in a direct confrontation. In this battle, the pack's tactics are no match for the bear's overwhelming physical superiority. On the African savannas, hyenas are not bystanders. They actively enter risky situations, maintain pressure, and constantly weigh every move. Hyenas survive not through superior strength, but through long-term strategy, pack discipline, and patience. This is how a species adjusts its pace of survival to the realities of the situation, rather than seeking quick results. Hyenas are a species that readily approaches and puts pressure on many larger animals, from antelopes, buffaloes, leopards, to even lions in certain circumstances. They don't shy away from risk, but proactively approach with clear calculations, step by step. The hyena's survival strategy doesn't rely on strength or speed. They aren't the strongest nor the fastest, but they possess the highest endurance. Their strategy focuses on maintaining long-term pressure rather than seeking quick results. Adult spotted hyenas can weigh up to 190 pounds, possessing very strong jaws suited to a diverse diet. They live in large packs, sometimes exceeding 80 individuals, organized into matriarchal societies led by females with high pack discipline and a system of communication through sound, scent, and body language. Thanks to this structure, hyenas coordinate effectively, knowing when to approach and when to keep their distance. They operate in packs, which can split into small groups or closely follow food sources for extended periods. Active both day and night, in open or dense environments, hyenas contribute to regulating animal populations and processing leftover food, thereby limiting the risk of disease outbreaks. Rhinos are among the largest animals in Africa, weighing up to around 5,000 pounds and having skin nearly 2 inches thick. This size and body structure makes an adult almost unrivaled in nature. In rare approaches, hyenas don't target adult rhinos. Their strategy focuses solely on the rhino calves, once they are separated from their mother's protection. Pressure is maintained for extended periods, sometimes for hours, with a very low success rate, only about 10%. The outcome in most situations is that the hyenas voluntarily back down. This demonstrates the hyena's high level of patience and highlights the significant risks involved in confronting rhinos. Hyenas only attempt a fight when the opportunity is clear and retreat when conditions are no longer favorable. Wildebeest are herbivorous animals that migrate in large herds, notable for their speed, which can reach nearly 50 miles per hour, and their strong horns. When moving in large groups, they rely on speed and numbers to reduce risk. In a stable formation, each individual is always shielded by those around them. When faced with a herd of wildebeest, hyenas do not attempt a direct approach. They observe the moving formation, monitoring the pace of each individual. Their attention is focused on the young, the weak, or those lagging behind when the herd changes direction. Pressure is exerted from multiple directions, causing the formation to gradually lose cohesion. When chaos arises, hyenas move closer but maintain a safe distance. Their goal is not individual strength, but to undermine the wildebeest's group advantage. Breaking the formation causes an individual to be separated for a short time. The outcome of the approach depends on coordination and timing. If the antelope herd maintains its rhythm and formation, the hyena will stop. When an individual loses contact with the group, the advantage shifts to the hyena. This is a prime example of tactics based on organization and patience rather than lone strength. Leopards are solitary predators, relying primarily on silence and stealth. After securing their food, leopards often climb tall trees or move to secluded areas to avoid being disturbed. Their solitary lifestyle allows them to be agile, but also means a lack of support when facing prolonged pressure. When hyenas appear, they don't rush to approach directly. The hyena's advantage lies in their numbers and constant presence around the area. Their regular sounds and organized movements gradually narrow the leopard's safe space. The psychological pressure increases over time, forcing the leopard to constantly monitor multiple directions simultaneously. During this phase, the hyenas don't seek direct conflict. They patiently maintain their distance, waiting for their opponent to make a decision. As the risk continues to increase, the benefit of the food source is no longer enough for the leopard to maintain its position. In reality, about 50 to 60% of cases end with the leopard abandoning its food source. The hyenas achieve their objective without fighting. This is a victory based on sound, numbers, and patience, clearly demonstrating how hyenas control the situation through collective organization rather than individual strength. African wild dogs are pack hunters, notable for their precise coordination and high group discipline. Each individual maintains its position, creating an efficient movement system around the food source. This coordination helps wild dogs maintain an advantage in many situations. When hyenas appear, competition immediately forms. Hyenas use their numbers and jaw strength to exert pressure, while wild dogs maintain formation and react quickly. Both sides move around the food source, constantly assessing the risks. The outcome usually favors the side that is more persistent and numerous at that moment. If the hyenas maintain pressure, the wild dogs will leave. If the wild dog formation is not broken, the hyenas will stop. African buffaloes are large herbivores, known for their ferocity and strong herd spirit. A herd always moves in close-knit groups, ready to react collectively to any threat. This unity makes buffaloes particularly difficult opponents to approach. When facing a herd of buffalo, hyenas don't try to get close directly. Their strategy focuses on stalking from a distance, observing the rhythm of movement, and looking for weaknesses in the formation. Their target is often a buffalo calf, when the mother buffalo temporarily loses her protective rhythm while the herd changes direction or is disrupted. Pressure is maintained continuously, but cautiously. Hyenas try to split the formation, reducing the buffalo's ability to react collectively. However, most situations end with the hyenas being forced to stop due to the herd's tight coordination. The hyena's success rate in such approaches is only about 15%. This result clearly demonstrates the limitations of hyenas against a highly organized opponent. This wasn't a test of strength, but rather a trial of patient tactics and the solidarity of the pack. Lions are the apex predators of the grasslands, possessing great strength and clear territorial control. A mature individual, especially a male lion, can deter many other species. However, lions also need to protect their food and living space from competitors. When hyenas confront lions, it's not a simple approach. Hyenas only exert pressure when the lion is alone, or when they have a numerical advantage. Sounds are heard, individuals move around the area, constantly testing the lion's reaction. If the lion is a healthy, mature individual, the hyena quickly maintains distance and stops. The outcome of these encounters depends on both sides' assessment of the situation. Hyenas may gain the advantage when conditions allow, but will retreat when the balance shifts. This is a long-standing antagonistic relationship, where neither side is willing to risk crossing its own safety limits. Hyenas don't seek absolute victory in every approach. They only act when conditions allow and retreat when the balance shifts. Patience, coordination, and situational assessment determine the outcome. In the natural world, knowing when to stop is also a form of survival.